What if it's not about a building? What if it's not about stained glass or steeples? What if it's about just Jesus?
Information or transformation. That's the Just Jesus message this week, Corey, that you put on. And man, I thought it was so great. And I want to dive into some different details on that.
Yeah.
But let's get it going, man.
Let's go. Well, I think we've said it many times. So many people talk about how they're going to react into the world and they're going to do this love thing. And they say, just love, love, love. That's all you got to do. And we've said it many times. There has to be some sort of transformation inside of us. There's lots of things that hold information, like we talked about AI. I felt like I needed to ask AI. Well, I don't know if I really asked. I said, "Hey, Christianity's the way, right?" He said, "Well, I'm programmed." He didn't say well. He said, "I'm programmed to stay neutral." He said, "But I can give you information about all of the religions."
He's not opinionated.
Yes. But as far as conviction, as far as telling you need to do this or you need to do that, he doesn't do that. And
Well, that's good, because that's when it could get scary, when our AI starts getting opinions.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many things. What hit me so strong and got it on my mind was when he said that, it hit me. People talk just like this computer. It's almost like people are saying without saying, I'm programmed to be neutral.
It's easier.
Yeah, I don't really care what your religion is. I'm going to be a Christian, but I'm not going to talk about my religion. I'm not going to talk about Jesus, really. I'm just going to try to live kind and please everybody, and that's just not what it's about. And in order to overcome that truly, I think it's almost like defibrillators, like the gospel has to be applied and almost to shock you to life, or the rebirth or the breakthrough. Like a baby that comes out of the womb, it's going to see different. It's going to sound different. It's going to move different. Like, we have to do things different, and there has to be a major transformation internally that takes place so that we will not be ashamed under no circumstances. Don't be ugly, don't be mean, don't be forceful, but not ashamed to say, Jesus is the way.
That leads me right to what I was thinking today when you were preaching, Corey, is how many times have you talked to an unbeliever or maybe a possibly a new believer or an atheist that says, "Oh, I've read the Bible," but they've never taken that transformation. They have the information, or they've absorbed it, they've read it, but they've never actually applied it. And maybe you're listening to this podcast now.
That's
maybe
good,
you've been
dude.
dipping your toe in the water, but until you make that transformation, or like we've said before, you give it a shot.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel it. You're going to have the information just like AI, like Corey's talking about, but you're never going to feel it.
Yeah, and that's really awesome.
It's like knowledge is power, but you have to apply it.
It's useless if you can't remember it and don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
The Pharisees were supposed to be the closest thing to God, the most religious people in that land, holding the integrity of the laws and statutes of God. Yet, when God sends his plan of salvation, they don't even recognize it. Yet, they can quote the Bible or the Old Testament and the scrolls and the things like that and they study it, and they can tell people when they're wrong and when they're not worshiping the way they should, but they couldn't recognize the way, the truth, and the life. And God said, or Jesus said to them, you search the scriptures. You search them all the time. You know them. You are informed by them from God, and you search them. And in them, you think that you have life in the scriptures. But the scriptures point to me, he said, and you don't know me.
That's good.
And you don't recognize me. And you're not willing to be transformed by having life to know me as the Son of God, or even more than that, the Messiah, the one who brings salvation, the Lord.
Yeah.
He came wrapped in all of God's glory, all of God's presence, all of the fruits that we talk about: love, joy, peace, self-control, and goodness, and all those things, faith. He was wrapped in all of them. So they're walking around like these computers. Hey, we know all the information, and we can go round and round with you. We can tell you when you're wrong. We can tell you when you're right. But we don't know the most important thing of the entire Bible, the person who said, I came in the volume of the book. You don't even know me. When I speak, you don't understand my speech. When I'm telling you something, you close your eyes and you stop your ears. You don't know God. You haven't been transformed inside. You're just a neutral being.
And we have people like that today. How many people know the Bible front to back, but never apply it to their lives? They're just a wealth of information. You know, it'd be very similar to me going to the gym, walking around studying all the machines, knowing what to do, but never do it. But I go every day just to see all the machines and look at them. I'm not going to get any fitter. I'm not going to get any better. It's the same thing with the Bible. If we're not studying it and reading it to learn Jesus and to be more like Jesus and to grow a relationship with him, we're just wasting time. We're just a source of information.
That is so true. There's so many verses in the Bible, but there's a few that come to mind that say things to the effect of ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. Like having kind of like of God, you know that he's all powerful, you know he's there, but you deny his power. You don't let the power of God transform you. So literally, you don't know what it really means to walk in as a Christ-filled, fire-filled, anointed child of God who is connected to Jesus Christ, therefore is contacting heaven. Therefore, whatever you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven, because the authority that is working through you as this perfect circulation from God through Christ, through you and back, gives you authority to bind things, to break chains off of people. Why? Because the very transformer. Ooh, I like that. The transformer. Now we got into the power is in you. He's in you. Literally, we should be able to walk into a hospital and lay hands on somebody and they'd be healed. Doesn't matter what it is. The prophet said, "Is there anything too hard for God?" So it's like we stay up here. People stay up here on this surface, and the Bible is dimensional. The knowledge of God is dimensional. The the transforming power of God is dimensional, but we stay up here just kind of floating, and we never move deeper than that. Maybe we don't even get into maybe we're just like ankle deep standing, if you could get a picture, just standing on the coastline. And you got this ocean, never ending supply of wisdom and knowledge and these treasures of transforming power that could be working through you. But you just stay over here and you say, Jesus is good. Yep. But so is Hinduism, and so is atheists, like whatever, just Buddhism, just, whatever it is for you, like just be whatever you want to be. And Jesus is standing here saying, I could be transforming your life, saving your life, showing you things that you've never imagined straight from God. If you would just, like, as he said, I'm just standing at the door. I'm standing at your door. God is never going to force his way in, ever. It's that quick, like the snap of a finger, like the blink of an eye, the flash. All you got to do, take the step, open the door, let him in. Okay, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know you, but here I am. Just show me. I've opened the door. Man, God will come in and show you some things.
Dude, that's crazy you just said that, because I was sitting here thinking, we've told everyone what it doesn't look like. So what does it actually look like? What is that transformation? What are the steps to get that transformation that we're talking about?
Yeah. It goes from being a human being, being overtaken by maybe even things that you've dealt with as a child. Maybe you had a hard, raising. Maybe you were in a marriage where you were mistreated or cheated on. Maybe you've had relationships where you were belittled. Maybe you've been hit so hard by life that you're almost numb and it's almost made you bitter.
Or maybe life's so good that you don't even need God.
Ooh, that's good.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because literally talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation 3:12. One of the churches that Jesus is literally talking to, Laodicea, he is literally saying, to be cold is okay. To be hot is good. But if you're lukewarm, I'll vomit you out my mouth. And this is literally looking over this certain thing that I didn't know was huge. I saw this structure, and it almost looks like a bridge. And they don't all look the same, but it's called aqueducts. And if a certain vicinity needed water, sometimes another place would send water through this. And it travels for miles and miles and miles by gravity. So that was one of the things of Laodicea. One part of it had mountains of cold water, and another part of it had hot water that was very needful and used for healing. But then sometimes water was shipped in through those aqueducts, and yet maybe it started out hot, but by the time, or cold, but by the time it got to where it was going, it was lukewarm. And a lot of people, maybe they've even started out with God, hot, heavy, passionate. And through, if you wanted to compare it, like through the mountains and through the rough terrain and over the miles of your life and the traveling, at some point, maybe you've been let down. Maybe you lost faith and you started out hot, but now you've came to a place to where you're just lukewarm, maybe even bitter, maybe hardened by certain things. And maybe you're like these people that he's literally talking to who thought that everything was good. Everything. And he actually spoke like he was speaking for the people in this church in Revelation 3:17. Do you think we could read that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And Jesus is literally speaking, and he starts out like, "You say."
Yeah, he says, "You say I am rich. I have everything I want. I don't need a thing. And you don't realize that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked."
Because you don't need anything. You literally said it. He said that that's the point. You think you don't need anything. You think you got what you needed and now it's all good and you don't even have to think about it no more. You're just doing your thing, going through the motions, and everything is good. Yet you don't realize that the reality is you're wretched, you're poor, you're empty. You don't have the true fruits running through your life because you don't depend on God. Literally, you might even be doing the ministry, going through the motion, singing your songs, writing your songs, doing the directing and everything that you're doing, but you forgot who you're doing it for.
No, that's not saying if you are lukewarm that you should just back away because you're wasting time. What would be the directive there?
It would be that one of two things, that maybe you think you have and you don't.
What do you mean?
Maybe you think you have a relationship, a well-refined relationship.
But how do they know if they don't know what they're missing? Like Perry said, how do I know that I'm missing something if I don't know what that is?
Oh, but now she's not lukewarm. She's cold because which in some sense is better than lukewarm.
Exactly.
But you still got to get warm somewhere, right?
Exactly, yes.
So that's our job to...
Well, and it looks like you're working all these things in the ministry. Or maybe you're not, but you still think you're good. But you're not praying.
No, but I think if we're going to minister to other people, like Stephen said, sometimes it's not always that, electric shock that's going to get them. Sometimes you got to play the long game.
Yeah, and I think you're talking more information and transformation.
Yeah.
And actually, you're right. And that's kind of what Corey was just explaining. And I think we can dive into it more even is how do you tell them? It's not about knowing the Bible. It's about using it and diving into the relationship with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not about knowing the Bible. It's about knowing Him.
Right. But sometimes we can do that by reading and learning, but there's got to be just those steps in faith where you just reach out.
You can know Him to a degree by reading and knowing the Bible, but you really get to know Him by prayer, by devoting your time to Him and knowing how to hear Him.
No, you're 100% right. But for me, until I read the Bible, I didn't even know who I was talking to or what I was talking about. Like I had to read to grow a relationship before I even reached out. Like, okay, what does this look like?
But that's when I piggybacked off of you. I didn't do the reading or anything. I just got that feeling.
You still don't do any reading.
I know. But you know what? It's working for me.
But hey,
but you found what works for you. That's great.
Well, exactly. I think that's the thing is it's not going to look the same for everyone.
That's a good point.
But that was a great thing what you said, which a lot of people don't ever get.
But I don't know how. There we go.
I was gonna jump on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain what I have. I don't even know how to verbalize that to someone else because it's such an overwhelming feeling. I don't even know how to
But what you just
articulate
what
that.
you just did was enough to make someone inquire, to make someone curious enough to try to draw in and see. I mean, it's not simple in a way, but in another way it is, because if your life doesn't consist of devoting any time to God, if your life doesn't consist of reading any of the Bible, seeking, God said, seek me early. You know, even as a child, he said to seek him while you were young, even like as quick as you possibly can. Start searching for God. Read the word. If you're not reading the word, then you're never going to know what it means to be transformed unless you've been around church settings, you've heard the word enough to know that I may have never felt it before, but I know that I've seen people transformed. I know that I've seen people moved in such a way that like something came over them. I don't know exactly what it was, but I would know and be able to put two and two together
Mm-hmm.
once I feel it. And so it's just like you have to do everything you can to do a self inventory.
But you've got to put the work in too. You can't just sit there and wait for it to come to you.
Exactly. That's not the way it works at all. It won't work that way because God said, if you draw close to me, I will draw close to you. He will never draw close to you if you don't have a heart that is yearning for him, that is craving a relationship. And it's most of the time because you've hit rock bottom. You've fell so many times. You've hit a wall so many times that you think you thought you had it figured out. You thought that you could do this or that your way and it would be fine. And all you ever came up with was disappointment and shortcomings until you said, man, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of hearing about all this information about this powerful God and about this transforming fire that can change my life. I want to feel it. I want to experience it for myself.
And you don't always have to be at rock bottom. I mean, gosh, this kind of just fell into my lap a little bit.
Well, absolutely.
You know?
It's like Stephen said, you could be in a place to where
I thought things were going great. You know?
yes, that.
You know, I mean, yeah, I thought things were fantastic.
So, with that said, what was it for you that said, whoa, 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 this feels even better than anything before? What?
Stephen,
Okay, what did he do?
he changed. Like I saw a difference.
So you saw a transformation, and for me, it wasn't rock bottom. But man, it doesn't matter. Let's
What
use
was it for you?
my transformation.
Well, you said it wasn't rock bottom. You know, I think it was just because you said, okay, I don't know, but I'm going to take a step. Right.
Of course, and like they say with money, no matter how much money you have, you always want more money.
Of course.
I wasn't unhappy, but shucks, there's something to make you happier. Well, let's find out what that is.
So do
You
you
know-
think that that's what the answer is for everybody, even people that don't know they're miserable? And like Jesus was saying, you don't even know you're wretched. You don't know you're blind. You don't know you're empty. You don't.
I think it doesn't matter what you have,
Mm-hmm.
where you're coming from, or what status you're in.
Mm-hmm.
A relationship with God will change you in a way that you can only imagine. And until you reach out and try to do it, you can't imagine what it does.
Yeah, well, I've been a part of this in so many ways for such a crazy, like,
you don't know a different
time.
way.
Yes, so that's why it just hit me when you started saying some of the things and you said some of the things. What was it for you? I know you said him, so What was it for you that when you weren't on rock bottom, you had a great life, you're a stable person with a beautiful family. What was it that said, I need to take a step toward this? Like you never wanted that, like, or maybe you thought you did. What?
And we've talked about it on here before. It was you and I talking,
Yeah,
and you're telling me about God and all these things that Jesus has done and different things.
yeah.
And then it kind of backs up to my testimony is all my life I heard people say, oh, well, I prayed to God. Oh, I prayed about this. I did this. And it gets you wondering, like, where's my God? Why does everybody else get this this
Transformation.
this transformation and this like partner for life, and I miss out on it? But now I have the opportunity, and now I have the guidance to get that for myself. Why would you not get it?
Exactly.
No matter where you're at, let's get it and let's bring it in and let's be a part of it, because it's as simple as praying.
run.
A little bit of research and just 3 minutes of your day, just pray.
Yeah.
And you could have the best thing ever coming.
He said 3 minutes. That's pretty powerful.
That's because I stutter a lot. I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, that should make it longer, shouldn't it? So that's it. So, like, the more maybe then us that have seen the light and the transformation, that maybe if we can see that God is leading us to anybody
Mhm.
in our everyday walks, that we would find a door to bring up Jesus.
But I think just like everyone's transformation is going to be different, I think that the path to that is different for
But
everyone.
look at the chain of events. Like, he was good, but then me and you talked and kind of helped you, like you said, to
No,
say,
not kind of. I mean, take credit for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we have
okay.
a clapping thing?
I'm sure we do.
We need a round of applause.
That's for y'all. 'Cause- but so that can be a very strong tool, is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Then he moved, and your different way of moving was seeing him move.
Yeah.
It ain't like, well, you did kind of come to her and say stuff too, though, right?
I
I
came to
remember.
him.
But that's a transformation in itself, because she wasn't used to hearing that.
Well, I remember one of the very first times I mentioned something about Jesus. It was actually about one of our services. I said, hey, you should come to this. We're going to be talking about this, and this is what this breaks down into. And I remember her thinking or responding with kind of like like the typical, oh, well, that's great. Good. That's going to be a good night. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Let's just go ahead and check that off the box.
Really?
Hey, what, I just offered to sell you a car here?
Felt like I was watching an infomercial, you know?
That's what a lot of people, they're so disconnected that they are thinking, oh, like you said to me when I mentioned Jesus, like, it's
Yeah.
just like,
I
dude, we
felt
ain't
like,
talking.
great, I'm going to go down here and drink some Kool-Aid, you know? I
Well,
mean,
like I felt like she was just blowing off everything that I said, and I'm sure she thought I was crazy. So, I mean, everybody was in their own little world, but I don't know if that's what planted a seed, and I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was over the course of time.
Well, what did you see?
that, I didn't know what was going on, honestly. I mean, this is a total 180 for him. And then that was kind of in the back of my mind. And I thought, well, I'm going to try this Bible study thing.
Now, hold on,
Let's see.
let's back
But
let's
you
back up.
thought that you were a Christian.
But that's what I was going to say. Let's back up.
Yeah.
So at the time, Savannah would tell anybody she's a Christian. So when I mentioned this,
Absolutely.
this was me talking to a Christian that I thought was a Christian. I didn't realize where she was at in her walk or lack of walk.
This is
So
great.
I'm mentioning this to a person that I thought was also a Christian, and she's giving me
It had been for years.
right.
Yeah,
So
oh, yeah.
I feel like a pest controlman trying to sell a service here. And I'm like, never mind. All right, cool. I get it. You don't want nothing.
But at the same time, she was like, oh, well, that's great. You know,
Well, yeah,
like,
I would
yeah.
have told,
because
I'd been,
Christians do that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
I was not a Christian knowing
Well, our
what I
church
know
is doing
now.
this.
Well, but I would tell when
That's
they
so
ask
cute
you,
that your church is doing that. That's great. You guys will get there one day.
I was total hypocrite. This was terrible
I
because
felt like an 8-year-old bringing, like a coloring thing to my mom. Like, hey, yeah, how you like it? Oh, that's a good job. You almost stayed in the lines and the whole thing.
I'm such a terrible person.
When she saw that you were such a good color, then that's what really changed her mind.
Well, I even came to one and then
What a
didn't come back for a
masterpiece.
while. Yeah, I mean, it just,
But don't say it's crazy like you're horrible. This is great.
Yeah, but let's dive into that. You said you came, but
Mhm.
that wasn't what did it. So what was the next transformation?
When I found out you had been baptized,
Okay.
because then I knew, holy cow, he's in it. Like, this is for real. Like, he is truly making steps. And you didn't say anything. I didn't know till
Well,
after.
I wasn't going to talk to you anymore about it. You already
Yeah.
True.
Well,
true.
what happened to make you feel like that you needed to change?
Because at that point, I knew that if he was willing to do this step with his entire family,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
like this has got to be something that, because he doesn't do anything halfway. When you're in something, he's in.
But where were you? Like, where were you thinking you were? Because obviously you thought you were already in it. These people were, Jesus, you thought you needed nothing, but you didn't know you were blind.
Well, I
You
think
didn't-
it was a joke. Oh, that's cute. He's doing whatever.
Yeah.
Until the FOMO, fear of missing out, actually hit in. Like, well, what is he got? What is happening there?
Yeah,
He's,
like
Yeah,
he's
do
turning
I-
things around.
Do
Yeah.
I have this? I need to check me now.
Yeah,
Is
I
that-
hadn't taken those steps. Like, I wasn't willing to do that. I got sprinkled because I didn't want to mess
Yeah.
up my hair and
I
makeup.
thought we were all just telling everybody we were Christians. Like, we really do things?
Yeah, like, I mean, and he is
Did you hear what she
actually.
just
Oh, I
said?
did.
No, but it's true, and that's terrible, and that's how I should have known.
No,
right
let it
then
all
and there
out,
that,
sister. This
like,
is
I
good.
wasn't committed. I wasn't in this. If
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that, then I was not.
You turned around and checked the box.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I could tell people at my children's Christian school that I'm a Christian. You know,
Mm, yeah.
they and that's exactly what I was doing. Where do you go to church? And I'd tell them where I went to church, but I didn't go there.
Really?
Oh yeah,
But there's
I had been there.
how many
I
people
don't go
in
there.
the world do this and feel this way and come in and sit in a pew very comfortably?
But I came once a year, maybe.
But I would say
But
there's a
you-
lot,
but
but
every-
nobody comes on a podcast and says that
Exactly.
until you've had that transformation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
because
nobody
looking
says
back
that.
now, I'm ashamed of myself.
No, you shouldn't be.
But I am, because I was parading myself around as something that I was not.
Yeah, but I didn't care until you made fun
Come
of my
on.
coloring.
Well, I know.
That
But it's true, because so many people do that, and I didn't know what I was missing out until I felt it.
Absolutely.
So I think you just said it.
That's your
like-
transformation.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like even Perry, like you just said it. Like I didn't know.
I just thought,
You
well,
looked
yeah,
at
I'm not
him-
going and dressing up on Sundays and going to church and listening and doing all of that stuff. But that's not even what it's about.
No. Literally. We say it all the time. It's not religion. It's a relationship. You can read the Bible from front to back over and over and over and over. And only hope at the end of the day, at some point, that God would see fit to have mercy, because it's only up to Him. He chooses, He lifts up, He elevates, He keeps people where they are. Some people stay hidden. Like, I think He's got them in like places of like hiding until, I'm just talking about some people. Maybe you're like, gosh, I've never felt nothing like this, and I don't know when I ever will. Maybe God has you stashed away and He's waiting for His timing. Because anytime God, if He sees something in you that wants Him enough, that He could just reach down and touch you, and fireworks could go off. Like Stephen saw lightning flash across the sky like a V. Dreams, like He can touch you in a moment, in as quick as you can blink your eyes, quick as you can hit the switch and, turn that light off or on. That is how fast God can come in. And you may be saying, well, I'm good where I'm at. Are you? Are you good? Look at people around you. Check people who you're close to. Find people who have searched out the scriptures and have been transformed and have took the step physically toward God to open the door and let Jesus come in with all of his reigning glory. Check those people, and people that you love, preferably, that you know that they have had a transformation, and see, could you be missing something that you need, that you didn't know that you needed it until you felt it, like she said, and you will feel it, and it's an undeniable feeling. Be blessed.